Hello, this is Tokia, and I'm going to give a quick tutorial on how to use GeniHub um, for this beta MVP stage. We have three actors on screen, three different um, users representing three parties in its supply chain. The screen to my left is um, a supplier, and the screen to the center is logistics, handling transportation, wholesale, warehousing, etc. Um, and the panel to my right is my retail, which is a shop, a retail shop. So the process starts um, with demand, which is request for product information. Somebody's looking for something. I'm interested in coffee right now, so I'm going to make an order to fill my shops with 500 pounds of coffee, sending it to EcoFood Trader, which is Tokia over there on the left. We could change the units depending on how one operates. Staging RPI. This means this puts it into review process within Maya Retail's database. And perhaps there is some oversight before it's sent through to the chain for it to be immutable through blockchain with this package of information, including SKUs, names, amounts, where it's coming from, who it's going to, date stamps, etc. That could be exported to the company's ERP system. If it's not ready to publish, it can be archived. Publishing is the way that it is sent to the receiver and into their database once they fetch it from chain. Now, note that in this, you sometimes need to hit the refresh button at the top for you to see the incoming. Now, in this scenario, we're going to make a batch. So let's say that the coffee is green, it's not ready for dispatch to the buyer or an offer to the buyer. So we're just going to know what our price is based on our price sheet, and we're going to create an offer right here. What's a good price for a retailer? If they're selling to us for $21, the wholesale price would be $13. Again, currency. We can add your country's currency as well. Select ready date. Set a date when you need it by, and then stage the offer. Staging the offer again is a review process. In future, if you'd like, we can automate it so that stage is actually published. So, but think of this as putting it in your basket online, and then it's not an order, but it's transmitted. So it's in your outbox, and then now it's in this. It's been sent. In future, we'll have sent RPIs to review what was sent. The recipient is Maya Retail, waiting for offers from various suppliers for what she was asking for, or what it was asking for if it's a store. Coffee, Kona, Hawaii. Again, everything is viewable. Importantly, the story is starting to stack with the information that was sent. If everything looks good, create a purchase order. Set the terms of the purchase order. When is it needed by? And stage, again, same situation. Ready for review. Can be reviewed and published. Return to the supplier. Purchase orders tab. Incoming purchase orders. Now let's say that this is needed to be produced, so the coffee needs to be roasted according to the specifications sent by the buyer. Create dispatch. If there's inventory, create a dispatch from the inventory, but in this case we're going to create a production batch. It moves us into the production batch tab. Create production batch. Pick the purchase order that you're creating the production for. Adjust quantity. Roaster A1. Create batch. The batch goes into the production batches. A feature very close to finishing is the ability to create a QR code. Obviously, it's a little bit messy, but the idea is you can create how many labels, what the size of the labels are, and generate a QR code to print or attach. Convert to inventory. Lot is assigned. Expiration date. Any notes, checks, information, convert to inventory. We can inspect it in inventory by going to the inventory tab. Inventory tab available to promise. That's the amount of product available to tie to incoming requests for products, informations, and offers. Here's the coffee. Any opportunities to transfer within the company to one warehouse to another. Adjust quantities. Reserve for one reason or another. Send it back to production if it's raw material for further processing. And this is when it's to be released by logistics, which is not there yet because the next stage is, notice that it's connected to a purchase order and to a batch. So it's batch level inventory management. Summarized in the inventory summary, but broken down by batch. So let's say that it's time to ship. We moved on to the stage dispatch from inventory. Please publish for this date to Island Speed, because that's the one I'll be checking unless you create one for yourself. A logistics company to receive the request to dispatch. Pickup address. Kona Roasters, Drive 1, address to be delivered, Maya retail shop for route cafe 2. Making things up here. Notes, handle with care, temperature requirements, etc., etc. These could be fields, which are enforceable, or just notes. So, staging the dispatch, which means now it's moved to dispatch. So we hit dispatch, tab, and we will see staged dispatches. And we confirm, once again, island speed, and we publish. Published. Unassigned is unassigned because it hasn't been accepted yet by the logistics company. Let's just see what happens if you go to island speed and you hit refresh. Here we have the request. Coffee Kona coming into island speed. The stage that this request is in. It has a PO number attached to it, which is traceability information. It means nothing to the logistics company, except that it's important for transport documentation to have certain key information. And here you have the information. Some of it's null, some of it is required, some of it's not assigned yet, but this is the fields that are going to help with traceability to move physical goods from one party to another party with the intermediary having the necessary information. If the dispatch doesn't like it or doesn't want the job, can archive. But here we're going to, for the purpose of the demo, 500 pounds, $250 delivery, 4-day delivery terms, carrier name, UPS, submit quote. So in this case, the actor could subcontract, right? And assign who the carrier is, or their own truck information. Maybe it could be coffee truck 1, etc. Submit quote. It's busy island speed. Here, pardon me, I have to get rid of this. Here we have staged quotes. So this is the part that we have to remember to do, is staged and not yet out of the database of the in island speed. In order to get it from the database of island speed to the entity that requested the quote, we need to publish. After review. Now we're going to island speed. We're in dispatch. We hit refresh. And outgoing shipments, Kona Coffee, Hawaii, dispatch requested. We need to look for the quote, right? Here's Kona Coffee. Review the quote. Review what the job is. And the price is going to be here. Cost $2.50. Delivery days. It's a little clock icon, 4 days. Accept quote and stage. For this purpose, we're not going to reject that quote. And then with the review process, and here's the publishing process. Publish and accept carrier. So it assigns now that carrier. Published, assigned. Kona Coffee. Who's assigned? Logistics Island Speed. Status is assigned. Quantity 500 pounds. Island Speed refreshes screen. And these are all delivered. Published quotes awaiting acceptance, $5. So we have to find, here, sorry, I passed it. My assigned dispatches. These are all in different states. This one is marked as picked up when it's time to pick up. And assigned a tracking number. We're just going to use automated GPS track system 1245. Confirm. Tracking system dispatched marked as picked up. So now in the Kona Coffee picked up. Okay. Now, logistics handlers, actors can move the product. Mark as in transit, mark as delivered, etc. You can add other features there, like canceled or delayed, request for a replacement truck, etc., etc. Same stage, publish requests, etc. This can repeat in different directions. Now, from the buyer's perspective, who's wondering what's happening, they can go to their dispatch tab, and there's our outgoing shipments, and there's published assigned shipments, and delivered shipments, and they drop down to the incoming deliveries at the bottom of the page. Marked as picked up. The shipper, refresh. Outgoing shipments, Kona Coffee picked up. So we're seeing everybody is in agreement. It's in alignment, right? To the three actors. Next, we'll just move past transit and go right to delivered. Marked as delivered. Refresh. Sorry, outgoing shipments, Kona Coffee, delivered. Refresh. Buyer is going to see incoming shipments, action required, Coffee Kona, review, audit, inspect, hit receive, open the box, check it out, reject quantities. Let's say some of it's still green. 1 pound of 500 pounds is rejected after inspection, and we can add as many issues that there could be reason to reject. Quality issue. The green beans got slipped in. Confirm inspection. This product has now been moved. Delivery inspected. 499 accepted. 1 rejected. Quality issue. Move to inventory tab. Kona coffee, 499 pounds. Free to sell 17 pounds. That needs to be updated. We're in our beta stage, so I'll just say that that's something we're working on, is to have accurate information about that. I think it needs to be moved. So we now have it broken down by batch. Details by batch. Details by batch. Batch level inventory management. And there we have it. Now, Coffee Kona, there's the 5 pounds. That's why the 12 pounds is related to that. Coffee Kona, 499 pounds. Purchase order information, inspect, and the history as necessary for inventory management is there. And the pattern repeats. To be sold, to be used, to be reserved, to be transferred, adjusted, or to production. All right, these are upcoming features. And that's step 1. The next video will be selling this inventory onwards. And then the third one will be using it for logistics. And future demos, we'll look at the wiring and what you would like to see in the C-suite, which is available on the upper left-hand corner, where you have reports broken down by department. There we have it. So you would have, this is a wireframe, so you would have total revenue for sales, accounts payable, information, total cost of goods, etc., and history. Live, of course, as things are moving along. You'll be able to, as business is happening, you'll see things going along quite well. And for the future, for those who are interested, this is all being recorded in a ledger. So batches are being minted into a ledger. Inventory is being minted into a ledger, etc. But this is wired, but the UI, if you do click on it, you'll see it takes a little bit of time for it to collect the data, and you will have data related to the movement of products up onto the ledger. So as I said, it's not ready yet. And I think that's it for now.